Okay, it's July 29th, 2026. Call the meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners to order. Roll call, David Sherbuck, Mark Robinson,
Scott Horsley.
and Superintendent Wiseman, Jen Nash. Is there any public comment? No one's online?
No one's online. We do have some leak adjustment requests under public.
We will go to leak adjustments.
Put in the packet as a reminder what our leak adjustment policy is. First on the agenda is a request by Zay Lopez, who's here with us tonight. He's the general manager at the new Russian Marsh Farm in Cove Circle. They had a leak during Winter Storm Hernando. The leak, according to the letter, was 3 feet underground, also buried under 3 feet of snow, which resulted in usage of 1.9 million gallons of water. Yeah, included in your packet is a copy of the bill that went to New Russian Marsh and their prior highest usage. And then last in that packet is the calculation of what their leak adjustment would be should it be granted. Zay is with us tonight if you have any questions.
Feel free to join us up at the table if you want.
Good evening.
So the previous high was 195,000. And the balance on this are turnips. On the note,
Basically, yeah.
factory.
This was in a line going to,
Yeah, so the line that it comes off, the main feed line comes off of what we refer to as the pool house. It was like grandma's house back when she was still alive, but
Yep.
it's by the pool, the main supply is in the basement. And then it comes out to a backflow and then feeds the grotto water features, which is more or less just fountains. So everything gets winterized in about November is when we winterize everything on the house and in the buildings. And then all the fittings typically get, winterized as well in these vaults that we have that feed the pumps that recirculate the water. So what had happened was, from the information I gathered from all of our vendors that we hire and rely on to do this stuff, is winterization happened. The fittings were taken apart, they were just
disconnected.
couplers, all disconnected. When the storm happened, I did my checks because I was worried that we were gonna have a leak because we got very, very cold and everything. I didn't discover anything, and then about 3 weeks later, they were clearing off snow in that grotto area on the pathways, and one of our landscape contractors, Plantera, noticed that there was water slowly seeping out of this vault. So we opened it up, the vault was full of water. It didn't really show anywhere else, which is surprising for that amount of water that it just went back into the ground. But we fixed it immediately. Came to discover that, yeah, some hand in the process, the winterization. It doesn't make sense to me trying to put all the puzzle pieces together. But long story short, yeah, there was massive water use and we're trying to put in safeguards in the future to prevent that from happening. So I've talked to Jen and she's been very helpful about, I know Dwyer came out and did put on a new valve there, so now we can get some real time water usage data, which there is a spike like that, we can get noticed and then address it, more more immediately.
I have a question.
Yes.
So looking at the last page, Jen, just trying to understand these last three numbers, so. Is the current due after the leak adjustment, the 56? Or is the current due the 11,633?
Right, if you approve the leak adjustment tonight, the relief provided would be the 56,454.20, and the total bill due would be 11,633.
So okay, I'm not sure I still understand. I mean, so is the 11,600?
They would owe the 11,600.
Oh,
This minus that, you put
okay,
that.
all right. That sounds like a pretty big adjustment. It's the normal way to do this?
Yes, that is our normal.
Is that based upon a certain percentage? I don't remember.
It's based on the previous high.
Right, they're responsible
Oh,
for
okay.
the previous time. But in that policy on the first page, I've highlighted a paragraph on the bottom about non-essential water usage. So the adjustment is at your discretion.
So tell me again why this isn't gonna happen again?
Because of the remote monitoring and safeguards in place. I'm also I've been there, this is my third season, so I've been here 2.5 summer. I can see a lot of improvements that can be made on the property overall. We have currently 5 wells between the 120 acres that Mr. McCourt owns. For something like this, it doesn't make sense to me that it even uses domestic water. It should be tied into one of those wells. It's just a project that needs to be done. It will take a lot of retrofitting. We'll probably have to change the pumps, motors that we have now to be variable speed. So, when it's calling just for that small amount of water, we can change.
So the public water service that we supply serves the old manse and anything else, your house, or
Excuse me?
what does our town water supply?
Yeah, so currently there's 13 buildings on the whole property. For this address specifically 1,500, which is what we refer to as the main residence. There's 2 buildings or
Waterfront.
three buildings. Yeah, exactly. So it's the main residence, the pool house, and then the cabana is what you guys service.
Okay,
All the irrigation is done from the well.
so on the other side of the street is all wells?
So it's all wells except for there's 7 buildings over there.
Are you in the caretaker's house?
Yes.
And is that town water or is
Yes.
that? Okay,
McCourt has like 8 accounts, and then Quixit has, I think, 3 more.
okay. And so I know there's the different water features on the inland side.
Mhm.
You just made a new one at the end of the foot of the field there, right?
Yeah, that's actually, that's a wetland
So that's
mitigation, so that's natural, that's for.
the water table?
Yeah, exactly.
Pumped, okay.
Yeah.
So this grotto is the fountain next to the mansion?
Yeah. It's, the grotto is, it's not a typical, when you think of a grotto, you think of like cave and all that, it's not like that, there's 3 basins. They're not very big, but the water that feeds to these vaults where the leak happened is for the autofill. So if those basins drop an inch, it will fill it up, just to get it back to level so that the recirculation can still happen. That's why this is really disappointing, because it's really a minor
Yeah.
thing, and it became a huge usage, yeah.
And we did put one of the new 15 series readers on this service so that we can go out and data log and see the normal usage
Yeah.
and help catch if something is wrong.
Well, this is the biggest one I've ever seen.
I didn't get a
You
trophy.
can go tell your boss that number one.
Yeah,
Who opened that bill? Who opened up that bill to look at it when they
I
got it?
did.
You did?
Well, actually, Dwyer.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, when
He
you opened
told
the
me.
bill up and you saw $68,000.
Oh, that goes-
You're like, there's gotta be a misprint.
Well, and I came from out west, I was in Colorado for 17 years, and when water out there is like gold, and we take it very serious, so that was, yeah, that was wild to me. We used to run these big irrigation pivots and, they'd pump 1,500 gallons per minute and put down the same amount of water in a day, but over 120 acres of irrigated field. For that usage to come from just a 1.5 inch pipe was pretty surprising, so.
Well, certainly the blizzard was an act of God. I think that's,
Yeah, I don't know, I just was looking, you guys all got the little page you said about the leak rate, and how it's set up and everything?
Yeah. but we added this paragraph several years ago
Yes, it says,
to deal more with in-ground irrigation systems that were leaking.
yeah, but in here in the middle, it says at the discretion of the commissions, an alternate calculation can be applied, given to the following considerations. Leak, was not due to negligence. Failure to winterize. Source of leak was identified in a timely manner, all that stuff. I know it's a huge relief of water. I mean, I don't know what the actual percentage is, how much, but
We included that paragraph when there was an outdoor leak that was not more than 2 times their
right,
previous high
yeah,
usage, and that's when we talked about using the 5-year average.
okay.
Well, to advance the discussion, I'm gonna recommend that we apply the formula that we typically do and issue an adjusted bill for $11,633.80.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Just also want to add that, I have been all over the country. Worked with a lot of people, and you guys are a pleasure to work with, but again, all the way down to your field guys, and
Thanks.
Well,
Nice to hear.
so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make the corrections tomorrow and issue a corrected bill.
Thank you, Jeff.
And just so you know, that's a one-time thing. If it happens again, it doesn't.
So one strike.
It doesn't give up, yeah.
2 strikes. You got 1 strike.
I understand. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Have a good evening.
The second leak adjustment request today, from Deborah Smith. I want you to know that this is the first email she's ever sent. She set up an account just to email us with this adjustment request. They have a house on Mashpee Road. It is largely seasonal. There is, a family member that checks on it every few days. And they found, when they were able to access the property, they found this leak after the storm. And again, you can see their previous high usage is 13,000 gallons, so this usage of 204,000 gallons certainly exceeds their normal and previous high usage.
So, sounds like a seasonal home.
It is. And she said they're not even able to use the home right now because of the mold remediation and all of the damage from this leak, yeah. So in this case, her bill was issued at $3,457. If we apply the adjustment as we normally do, her bill would become $218.70. We would issue relief in the amount of $3,238.30.
Well, this sounds more normal to me. Seasonal house coming down for the season and fine problem. And again, it's just a one strike. Make sure she knows that. I'm gonna recommend that, we use the policy and
Just
slide our adjustments.
Just the questions, I don't remember, so. Said previous use, so it is essentially the policy that at first time offense. We go back and charge them whatever their normal usage was before.
Double their previous.
Oh, times two, all right, that's what I was wondering, there is a penalty.
There it's
Okay.
double their previous.
All right, thank you, I'm done, I'm
In
good.
their
I'll second.
case, the previous high is not very high,
Right.
Right,
so
okay,
the penalty is not that great.
I second. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the agenda is water quality.
Any public comment?
Observer.
Know how to make the projector?
We tried, we can't get it to work on her computer.
We were trying to be cool like the prudential committee.
All right, all school poll from St. Louis came back free and clear in June. We did not receive any results of any other testing in June. But next month we will be doing, chlorine byproducts, RHA fives and trialmethanes that's required by the state because we do put chlorine in the water. It's gotta be done in a certain months of the year, every year. So that'll be done next month in August. Other than that, I think we have scheduled to do secondaries and inorganics also coming up this quarter. We're waiting on some results. Other than that, we're okay. Well, things here, this is the new report that Jen put together for the PFAS.
Based on the last one.
Right.
Right.
Oh, this is great.
So page one just compares previous testing to the latest. It gives a quick overview on the spaghetti map. And then there's a graph for each station that follows.
Looks like well five. Has taken off a little bit, hasn't it? If I'm reading this right, 24.
Yeah, I was looking at that again today. We've had results that have been, for them to be able to be recognized, it has to be 2.0, over 2.0. And we've had as high as 1.8, we've had as high as 1.97 on two different, of the PFAS 6, and what happened was both of those went over the 2 threshold, that's why it spiked so high in that one time.
The latest one was up above 7, right?
Yeah, that's a combination of 3 different chemicals.
Yeah, you see,
Because the component.
you add these across here.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
When do we test again? PFAS?
October, is it, wait a minute. I'd have to get back.
This was April.
Yeah, that was April.
Yeah.
So they probably, actually, if I look at this. I get the
We
results,
actually test in April.
yeah,
I think the other ones have been.
so 6 months later, we would say we test,
Okay.
yeah, September, October, that's when we usually do the second test. And I have to apologize. I went to look at my notes this morning and everything else to make sure I had everything for you guys, and the first thing I saw was call Mark Nelson and get his opinion, and I went, oh. I went on vacation this month for 1 week and I kind of forgot about it, so I called and left a message with him first thing this morning, and he never got back.
We'll blame it on him.
Okay, good, thanks. So I did try, it's just, it was the last minute thing.
Let the minutes reflect. Mr. Nelson was
I
not
did the same
responding.
thing. I got the packet of the minutes and I go, ooh, I can call her.
send those out right after the meeting.
This is great. Thank you for this, Jen.
Does that meet, all of your concerns from last meeting, all of your edits? Is there still changes you'd like to see?
Is there a color there that you have to change?
No, this is good.
Okay.
I asked ChatGPT what colors were good for
Oh, good
color.
for you. Thank you. That was nice. I guess the only one thought I have is, Mr. Danhauser had a test done on his, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, years ago. He was part of some sort of a, I think EPA did a study, I remember, and they took his tap water in his house, I think. And they had a full suite, not just PFAS, but all the stuff that Silent Spring did.
Yeah,
In
the
fact, it might have been-
pharmaceuticals and everything.
Yes.
Yep,
And they found quite a few things, as I recall.
really,
I think so.
because we took part of that and they only found a couple,
I
antidepressants.
mean, they were very low, but.
Yeah, very low doses
Stuff
stuff like,
there.
Dilantin, something like that, and something like that. It was a couple different things that, were extremely low though.
Okay.
Yeah, and that caused it shocked me because the next thing I know, there's websites coming out, toilet water contaminated with,
Well, that's.
pharmaceuticals. I'm
Right,
like,
right. Was that part of the?
it was, yeah, I took part of that Silent Springs, yeah,
It
they
was.
called me up and asked if I did, I said, sure, I'd love to know what's in the water, why not, free testing, course, come on in.
So you
And
went,
then I got slammed with it afterwards, I was like, I'll never do that again.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, exactly.
all right.
Which reminds me, my neighbor, Philip Odense, who's has an irrigation well. Wondered if we would be interested in testing the output from an irrigation well. And I said, I believe that we test,
Just Phil?
yeah. We test a residential tap out on the coast, and we on a regular basis.
We do residential, we use one of our monthly samples anyways, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but we don't do a private well, we just do a town test.
and I said, I don't know why we would be interested in that, other than you're really close to the water.
Right, I mean, if he could. If he wants to know what nitrogen levels he's putting out there to help the flowers and everything else on the grass, it might be,
He can take it to the county lab himself.
That's what I
Yeah.
told him. All right.
They'll test anything to give them.
I know we have very few private wells for drinking water. There are some. Are they
There are still
mandated
some.
by the state to get tested?
Only when
No,
you sell
no,
the house.
no,
Only when you sell it.
right, when you sell the house or buy it, yeah. Jen knows that. She's officially looking into it,
Like
good,
2 days before the closing, they're like, did you get your well tested? What?
Well, that's usually a bank requirement. Or is that town?
That was the closing attorney required that.
Yeah, but that's oftentimes the bank mortgage requires that.
maybe, yeah.
There.
Any other questions on water quality?
Can you make this PFAS? stuff go away?
I guess, for the
I keep willing, I pray every night.
At least it's not going out.
Right.
It's staying low.
So. What are we doing with this information? Are we just looking at it ourselves? Are we putting it out there anywhere?
Is it, I think, I remember in one annual report, we did say we detected low levels, but they're within the standards. I think it's fair to let people know.
Yeah,
It's in our CCO too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it should be available upon request.
Yes.
So if somebody reads an article in the newspaper and says, well, what about my water, and calls Jen, and Jen has this to give to them.
I mean,
I think you'd have to explain it a little better to them, but the below standard is the important thing.
well, the other thing is, as you've said many times, this might be, some people might look at this and say, I want to put a filter on. Because, I mean, the way they set these standards is, somewhat subjective.
correct, I mean,
So some people that are more concerned may want to put a filter. I think it's good that we let them know there is trace levels of some of this stuff.
And charcoal filters will get rid of it.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. Yeah,
So that's a,
so give people the option.
Do a current.
yeah, let's do that. tell people that this information is available. We are below standards. We're one of the first suppliers to monitor for these
Yeah,
things.
we're doing more than required.
And we're testing more often than required.
And required by the state, correct?
And, um, the results are available upon request. Send us an email. And, if you're concerned about your own tap, there are many market solutions such as, not to name the brands, but just say charcoal filtered.
I would use the word some filters because some do not.
Some charcoal might not, yeah, it depends on the brand, I
Yeah.
would think, yeah.
Okay, so just make sure we're not endorsing any particular thing,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
we understand that some charcoal filters work very well
Yeah,
in removing any potential.
and actually, we could refer them, EPA has a website that evaluates all different water filters, so that'd probably be the place to
The
refer them
FDA
to.
does.
Yep,
You could refer them there.
and maybe, you could look and see if you can find it, Jen, and give them the link if it's.
Yeah.
And my thought is, what is this costing us, would you say, extra beyond the minimum monitoring, roughly to do this?
We just had the amount that we paid.
Hang on, I'll open the budget, I can tell you.
Well, even if it was 5,000 a year, it would be worth it.
I think so.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
I'm
the
gonna say.
last
We should
test
keep-
was 2,000 something dollars. And we're just, by law, right now, we're not testing like we were before every quarter. I think we did it for a little while. But right now we're down to, as we're testing all stations instead of just the two that are required, that from DEP.
Yeah,
So we're making sure that we test all just in case something creeps up.
and how often?
And we're
Semi?
doing it semi right now, yeah, twice a year, and it's what the DEP is asking us to do, those other 2 or 3 stations, we're just
I think
adding the
that's-
other ones in to make sure nothing shows up.
I would suggest we keep doing that.
Yeah. I think it was Tom Camperry said that too, he goes, right now with your results, that doesn't warrant any extra testing.
All the money that we're saving, not cleaning the tanks outside. Put to this testing.
You wait. On a note on that, I did talk to, a tank guy today about the inspections. That they're gonna be doing, which is getting taken out of the regular budget, it's not a special appropriation, but, he said to me, he goes, I threw together a little price in there too, he says about, watching the outside, you asked me how much it would cost and everything, and he's kind of combined it with a bunch of other stuff, but, he said it's over 20 grand now to do it.
It was 16 the last time.
Yeah, 16.5 last time. we
Between
did it.
both of them or just one?
One, just to do one. And I said, that's not worth it, dude. I told him. I said, "It's just-"
3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Over my dead body.
Right. Um, if you want any more on the, what, okay, I'll go right into my superintendent's report then. Read on July 29th, 2026. In June of 2025, we pumped 23,029,000 gallons of water. In June of 2026, we pumped 25,826,000 gallons of water, or an increase of 2,797,000. June was extremely dry, and we didn't put the restrictions out till July 1. So,
And I just sent around to all of you an email, because I couldn't get it to Jen earlier. I, at the last meeting, I said I would look into correlating this to precipitation, and much like, you, I didn't think of it until a couple of days before the meeting.
I have it here to share.
But I decided to call my grad student, and she did it for me.
nice.
So she sent a graph to Jen, but if you look at your email on your phones, you'll find this really nice graph she did that shows, and she picked some good colors. See, so there's July. You can see, this is actually from a past year, but you can see huge amount of, well, very little precipitation and a huge amount of pumping. So there is, and it's not surprising, right? But hopefully what she gave you, Jen, we can incorporate it on a regular basis now.
I'm looking at July where the usage is way up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So this is definitely a good correlation, and I think that will help us practice stuff going forward. So hopefully she gave you the format to continue this. You have to look at it. And
I don't know that she did, but I will.
and I'll put you in touch with her if
Yeah.
need be. I knew she could figure this out much faster than me, so.
So this sets a record for June. At least going back 5 years. I don't know what the 2021 level was during COVID. It was 2020 our peak.
We got a winner.
Does that include Mr. McCourt's usage?
Does.
Does it?
Well, not in June,
Wait,
it does.
wait.
It would in like March.
No, it was February, and that would explain our 22% increase because we were up
Oh, yeah.
1.1 million gallons in February.
Yeah, good point. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
How close are the water levels to the pump these days?
They're doing all right. We're doing well. We still got plenty, of water above
Above the freeboard there?
Yeah, we got over 10, I think one of them might be 9 feet or something like that, but it's still, we've lowered the pump down a little bit. And everything.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, we can lower the speed down on the pump. We have VFDs on them now. So we can lower them down a little bit and, keep going. So you're not drawing as much, you're not making as big an impact on that.
Mhm.
The monitoring well just hit last night, the level that it's supposed, if it's at for 6 months. Excuse me, for 60 consecutive days, we'd have to go to mandatory. But then we got all this rain last
Yeah.
night and this morning, and it starts another level that's a little lower. Next month, because it goes down each month in the summer. So it's already away from, tomorrow will be away from the 60-day consecutive, you can start again.
Okay. Oh, got it. So if we have one day above, then we reset the timer.
Correct.
Got it.
We're still in drought too.
Yeah, you still have level 2. Really not much to talk about in association news. Nothing huge going on. There's starting to be some. Yeah, like with changing policies, like they're trying to reclassify the water operator as a different class to fall in with the police and fire because of retirement, and they can retire a little earlier or get a higher percentage. They've tried it for the last 10 years and it's been failed every year, so they're trying to hit it a little harder this year. Barnstable County's kind of taken that on with Mass Water quite a bit. So there's gonna be a lot of people asking for letters and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a water operator. I might send it out to you guys or something like that, just saying, yeah, I support that, or you don't want to send it, don't. But it's just to help out. It's not gonna help me in any way. It's not gonna pass before. I'm already there just about. It's gonna affect my guys and down the line and everything else. It's just to say, because what we are, we're all classified as DPW workers. Auto operators aren't considered different. So because of that, we're just classified in with the rest of the DPW workers, like the town of Barnstable and stuff like that, that doesn't have any high risk at all. They don't mix with chemicals, trenches and all that stuff. So Barnstable County and Mass Waterworks is into that right now. Jen Peterson's leading that a lot. Actually, Steven Zero sponsored the bill last year. He came to not Sean, Paul Anderson from Brewster and said, if you guys go in the same way you are, they're just going to turn it down flat again. He says, you're going to have to take a different approach. So that's why they're trying to hit it a little harder this year and look for a lot more support and everything. Let's see. Under general discussion, we didn't have any new services. We did have one replacement service. Down on Main Street down here. No leaks. I have ordered the new generator. Good news. Bad news, it's gonna take 19 weeks to get it. So we're looking sometime at winter installation or something like that. It's gonna, it's quite a ways up. Yeah.
Hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a couple phone calls out for putting the generator down at the, Santuit tank. We've always not had one there because originally there was gonna be one put on when we put the antennas up top for, what's the name of our company?
Valley Communications,
No, our
Open Cape.
Open Cape, yeah, was gonna put a thing there for the reverse 911. You know, they're gonna put things, they connect back and forth to the different towers. And when they did that, they were gonna put a generator there, and all the stuff they bought, the supplies is still sitting behind the shed, they said, in the woods. And they just have stopped it on that project altogether. So I'm pretty sure we'll never get that generator, so. When we had that storm this year, I told the guys, I said, go down, plug that other one in and start it up, and they went and pulled and the string came out in their hand, and they went, uh-oh. So I'm tired of that, and so I'll get something automatic in there now, and we included that in with the pricing that we went for special appropriation. So I do have calls in on that, people come over and give us prices on that. Doesn't have to be a big one either, it only has to be a 10 kW, or it would work with a 5. But nobody wants to, nobody will install a small 5 kW, everybody just says no, 10 or 8. I'm waiting on an update price for the lime tank to be cleaned. I talked to the gentleman and he's getting me 2 other prices because it's over a certain amount. So I told him, I said, you know, I'd like to have a couple competitive bids on something, and everybody I've approached said, I don't want to mess with it. So he says, I know a couple people that are power washers and this and that would go in there and do it. So I'll just have them give you a call and you can tell them what you got, and I can share the information I have with them so you can make sure you get your bids that you need. So great. And other than that, I did receive the pricing on the storage tank inspections. There's gonna be some repairs that have to be done, and probably in a couple of years, I'll have to power wash the inside. Make sure all the muck's out of there. I think the last time we did that was 3 years ago. Over on, and because we were getting dirty.
Oh, you empty the tank and then get in there?
Yeah,
How do you go in?
they go in, they gotta go in from up top and crawl down
To
in.
the very top?
Oh, yeah.
The ladder that goes in?
Yep, there's a ladder on the side, they climb down in, and then they come in with a big vacuum, and they suck all that mud out of there.
There's mud in?
Oh, yeah, it's all iron and manganese.
Oh,
Wet, I call it mud because it's wet. When it comes
Rare
out,
earth.
you don't want it to touch you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's that?
It's rare earths, we could sell it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Before we retire from the board, we have to get inside the.
I'll let you go first. Oh, man. All right, and that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Unfunded benefit liability. On Monday night, at the invitation of the Prudential Committee, I attended their meeting and we discussed the unfunded sick leave benefit. I asked them to draft a memo of understanding, and we received that late this afternoon. And I've given you each a copy. Just to bring it up to date, as of June 30th, the total liability is $77,735.05. The Prudential Committee and the district treasurer recommend that since the bylaws allow us to expend from the stabilization fund for any purpose, the funds do exist. And should we need to, we can draw from there if we agree tonight. And that temporarily, and that long term, the treasurer would like to create a special stabilization fund to amortize over 5 years the liability. Given the current rate, that would be about $15,500 a year. To create that special stabilization fund will require a 2/3 vote of the district. We could do it in a special meeting, or we can wait until the annual district next May. I don't see any reason to incur the expense of a special meeting. And so this memo of understanding is essentially something to put into the file for Ray to satisfy the auditors. That the liability can be covered, should it need to be covered.
I read it through, it makes sense. The stabilization fund that we voted in a few years ago was Tom Hoppenstadt's, idea. You know, my understanding is it's more for rare events of capital or operations that weren't anticipated, but.
Right.
So, that should not be the go-to for this type of payments. But certainly between now and the next district meeting, if we can use it, then we should use it. If we have to use it because somebody makes a claim.
Right.
That makes sense. And I can't see any reason why the district would oppose creating this separate dedicated sick leave policy.
And also to clarify, any disbursement from the existing stabilization fund requires a 2/3 vote of the ADM. That's not at our discretion, but
2/3 for creating it, is it 2/3 for spending it?
for spending.
Okay.
There's been an amendment to the state law on these stabilization funds. A special purpose fund requires a majority
Okay.
to disperse, 2/3 to establish. The existing bylaws do not state capital purposes. However, in 2019, the water commissioners report, the annual report, specifically said it was primarily for capital expense.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. With your agreement, I'll sign this and return it to the treasurer, and we will then next spring prepare a warrant article to establish a special fund.
You need a motion or
I
not?
do.
Oh, I will so move.
I second to adopt the approved sick pay policy.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Dave, thanks for doing the research on this.
Thanks to Jen and Chris, they gave me a good briefing on Monday before the production things. Okay. We're moving on to the financial review of the year past.
So if you tuned into the Prudential Committee meeting on Monday, you would have heard that Ray touting just how much over our budget, our revenue came in. We had budgeted, I think, 1.2, and they, when Ray does the tax assessment, I think he does an 85% of what we think is coming, so that we don't end up with a revenue deficit. I think is smart. Through June 30th of 26, our revenue for water related and or antenna and CVAC or ground lease and CVAC revenue was 1.4 million. In addition to that, we took in a little more than $232,000 for the PFAS settlement, which is in a separate account to be used for PFAS remediation in the future. On the expense side, we turned out just about $18,000. We may have one more expense that can be encumbered, and we're just waiting on a decision from the treasurer for that, which is about $2,000. So our turn back would be about 16,000. Obviously, the majority of that is in payroll because we had an open position for part of the year. And you can see where we may have underspent or overspent in the operating and maintenance budget, but because the warrant article only separates salary from operating and maintenance, we're able to absorb some of the overages and changes. And then down the very bottom is where we are on our special appropriations funding for fiscal 26. And obviously the printer appropriation account is fully spent. The HVAC will become turned back, that's 7,767.46 will be turned back to the district. And the cybersecurity is ongoing, and I think there's one more expenditure for the
Service will be turned back in.
Will be turned back.
Yeah.
Jen, if I may, you lost me in a
Sure.
one, so let me put it in my own, make sure, see if I get this right, so, on the first page.
Yeah.
We got 1.4, I'm gonna round off here. In receipts, we got another 230 PFAS,
Mhm.
we get another 86K receivable, so that's 2.6, 2.7. Sorry, 1.7, 1.7.
Showed all the receivable people.
Right, now if we go to this second page, that's where you lost me.
So this is our expenditures. This
Yep.
is our operating maintenance budget.
So this is saying a little less than 1 million, no?
Yes, so we were approved for 937,606. We spent 919,201,64. So
Oh,
we're
we-
returning back $18,000 back to the district that we didn't spend.
Right, but I guess what I'm trying to figure out is,
And if Ray was here, he would say this does not include
Yes.
other personnel benefits like health insurance.
okay. Well, what I was gonna say is we got 1.7 coming in and less than 1 going out.
What we say is that our revenues far exceed operations.
Operating.
So there's other costs.
Correct.
And how do we find out, where are those?
So Ray tracks those in the administrative budget. That's like long-term debt payment, short-term debt payment, employee benefits, insurance.
Oh, I remember years ago, in fact, I think it was one of the first years I was on the commission, I was very excited because we had a report at the prudential meeting that we made money. Which I think was the first time in a long time, and I'm presuming that was including these other costs.
It was not including those other.
Really?
costs. Yes.
So I guess my question
We've
is,
never seen that broken down, Scott.
well, okay, so where do you think we are with those other?
It doesn't
costs?
matter because we're funding more than our share. Property taxes is paying some of that too.
So
So
hold on, I mean, the discussion we had was we can back off on the property taxes because we're self-supporting.
that was an argument I made.
That's correct. So I would like to know how close we are to that. And it sounds like we don't.
Be a question.
I'm sorry?
That would be a question for the treasurer.
Yeah, and I'm intend to ask, because I want to know what our debt service.
Why would, it seem like a good thing we should know, right?
Well, we do need to know, because one thing that was discussed at the Prudential Committee was the need to have some long-term planning, and we have a 5-year capital plan, which has sitting a $20 million expense. I don't know if the district has the ability to borrow that amount of money. And so we need to have some discussions with Ray about where we stand on the debt level. And I would like to see a fully loaded budget, including, healthcare, et cetera. Because yeah, this is deceptive. We can,
This is a little apples and oranges.
I'd back PFAS out of that because that's going to become a diminishing source of revenue. But by and large, one could at least say that we're break even. And that we're,
I mean, it seems to me we should be, could be or might be able to be self-supporting and not have to tap into property taxes, right?
right.
How does the Prudential Committee feel about that?
I agree. I think you're missing that viewpoint here. I think that's a good question for Ray.
And when we did the cost of service study, they appropriated, I think it was 10% of our water consumption for fire protection that should be covered by
Oh,
property
right.
tax.
It's in the teens.
Yeah, was it in the teens? I was thinking 10.
17% maybe.
How difficult is it to get there and to get that information?
Shouldn't be difficult at all. I mean, Ray's pretty buttoned up, I'm sure you can check.
All right, well, that's,
Well, we know how many employees we have. We know what their salary scales are. Oh, who's taking health insurance, who's not.
But I'd like to see what our year-on-year trends are. Are we outpacing inflation? The discussion at the Prudential Committee was about the fire district is not subject to Proposition 2.5, which limits the town to annual increase of 2.5%. So that begs the question, are we awash? Yeah. It feels like it, without the numbers we don't know.
We were 154% of our revenue projection according to Ray's report on Monday night. That's pretty substantial.
Mhm.
And he was complimentary about the expense management. He did a good job there, so thank you.
When will be the next time we revisit this kind of a next year?
I can produce it at the end of every month if you'd like to see.
I don't know if we needed that, but
But you tell me.
seems to me like once a year would be nice to know.
You mean with all the other things?
Yeah.
Well, why don't, I'll take it to do for, I'll ask Ray if we can get a more comprehensive look at.
Or maybe now we just got a year end thing, right?
Yeah,
So maybe we could get this updated just with that, at least an estimate. Because maybe, you know, maybe we should discuss water rates again.
right.
Free water.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you. So then we go into non-water rate comparison.
Okay, so as we, I feel like I've been talking a lot in this meeting. So as we talked about last meeting, there are a few services that are not water rate, water usage related that are starting to bump up against the cost to supply those things.
Yeah.
So I have given you a rate service card with some yellow highlights on it. Those are the kind of services that I'm talking about tonight. And then I did two comparison charts. One being a service rate comparison. I reached out to some of our local surrounding districts to find out what they charge for final water, final meter read for backflow tests for seasonal turn on and off, and what's their hourly labor rate. I've charted all of those out. We are at the very bottom and then put an average rate in there. But for comparison, our general hourly labor rate was $50 an hour. And if you take an average of our operators' rates, the expenses $42.29 for regular and $63.75 for overtime. We do charge $75 for an overtime service call. 18. We're getting close there. And that wouldn't include, you know, the cost of fuel for the truck to get there.
Well, you know, again, given what we just talked about, as a former business owner, there's something called an overhead rate, which covers, you know, your salaries plus all the other stuff. So we should include that. Otherwise, we're effectively losing money every time we do something. So I would, maybe after we get this, I don't know what it is, 20%, whatever the number is, it's off of this.
For overhead,
Yeah,
it's typically in the teens.
that's what?
It's in the teens, I think.
Well, I mean, how do we know that though? So we do.
We don't,
We know.
but when you're applying for grants and things, you put
Oh, I see what you're saying. Generally speaking, yeah, yeah,
10 to
yeah,
15% overhead.
yeah.
Wow. So am I reading this right, Jen? If you wanted to get a 2-inch meter, the meter costs $1,248 and we're charging right now $1,200.
It costs $1,248
Yeah.
plus the $296 flange kit, plus the $135 reader. So we're losing 2-inch because we charge $1,200 for the connection charge.
Okay, so, yeah. I'm still confused.
So.
So if I have to put in a 5/8 meter, the meter costs 150 and we're charging them 600 to install it.
Plus the $135 radio reader,
Okay, I
so
think you gotta,
$285.
that's clear to you. It's not clear to me. So I think you need to put that up here with that.
Yeah, it goes with all of them.
Well, okay, you put it in another column and say plus 135 for each one of these. And then if there's another combination. It's just, it's
Yes,
clear to you. It's not clear to me.
understood.
Okay. And then. these connection charges are different than our labor rates and things.
Right, so any new, new service installation on a property that was built after 1973 gets the $600 basic use assessment. And then if it's a new service, there's a connection fee, if there's a replacement service, there isn't. And that connection charge should cover the tap, right, Chris?
Right.
So what are you asking us?
Yes, do you have a recommendation for adjustments?
I don't.
Well, okay, so you've done the research. We're here to look at this information. You're gonna fix this chart for me,
Yes.
and then we'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And what's going on in Hyannis? 98 cents, 56 cents.
Yeah.
I missed something. What's the fix you wanted?
So on the materials expense
Yep.
chart,
Yep.
each
Some of them
meter,
are additive and she's not showing the additives.
each meter has an expense associated with it. And each service gets a radio read.
Okay.
So if we were to install a 5/8 meter, the cost of the meter is $150 and the reader is $135, so that's a $285 expense. In the case of the 2-inch meter, there's a 1-inch kit that goes with it.
Got it. So for a 5/8 meter, 150 in materials, 600 in connection. And 135 for the reader, so the total cost is $885.
No, close.
Stop.
The connection charge is what we charge the customer to put that in.
To put that
So,
in, that
in the
absorbs
case-
the materials.
Correct.
So that's kind of labor?
Yeah.
Does it count labor?
It-
We charge a $50 inspection fee on top of it, but
Is the 600, that's, so 600 plus the 150?
No,
no. So the $600, I know, I need to do a better chart.
she understands that we don't understand. She's gonna go back and fix it. We'll talk about it next month. How's that?
All right, Jen?
Good job.
You can give you a better estimate, if that, a 2-inch service connection charge should be more than $1,200.
Okay.
It should be able to pay for what you're putting in there at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if somebody requests to me for a 2-inch meter, they pay for it. I don't pay for a 2-inch meter or a 1-inch meter. So they also get charged for that meter. When it's time, to do the stuff, they'll get this, actually, they'll get this 1,200 and another 1,200. You know, it should be in plus the cost of the meter.
This is a lot of
When you
materials
come-
involved.
When you, sorry, excuse me, when you come back, why don't you include your recommendation too?
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'm guessing we're gonna go along with it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit all the charges because, like she said, if the guys go out and work for 4 hours, we're making $20 or something like that, you know, it's very close. It's maybe $60 or something like that for them to be out there on overtime. You know, on a weekend or something like that, and that's, you know, that's not right.
$12 to cover the overhead on an overhead.
Yeah, so yeah, if there was 4, there'd be 12 times 4, so yeah, you'd be, yeah.
Well, in fact, there's a 2-hour minimum, so we're moving.
That's true, now we've got a 2-hour minimum, so,
Or 4.
yeah.
All right, we'll do some more work on that.
Thanks for researching the other groups.
I'm gonna jump ahead to matters not anticipated by the chair. This morning I attended a emergency Zoom call with the EPA Cybersecurity Division. In the packet is their warning. And they apparently dozens of water systems, typically small to medium, because they're the most vulnerable, have been shut down by Iranian hackers who are exploiting the programmable logic controllers. They are the things that our SCADA system allows you guys to open and close valves and see levels of in the tanks, et cetera. They issued some recommendations that we should consult our system integrator, EDR, to make sure that if those logic controllers are internet accessible. I don't know if they are, or if they use cellular modems. That their passwords be recycled and they lay out all sorts of other technical steps. So I would like to ask the superintendent to EDR too.
Already done.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Already done. I'm gonna hand you guys, I'm gonna ask you not to read it aloud
No,
or anything
that,
like that, because we are being, recorded. I sent him this as soon as you sent it to me and said, what can you tell me? And he told me basically that, the answer's again, there's a little dot, give them two if you want, Chen.
Thank you.
This is the state,
They're on there.
the state of supplier.
Yes, that's the one who did the original, assessment. And they're doing, this is the first year what they've addressed on there. And he's already scheduled to be here next week to do some work.
So this is the, I'm not gonna read it, but
Yes,
this is the fix to the. This is the fix
it's
to,
saying that everything is already in place and fixed, except for one part
okay,
there and,
oh, this was awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, he hits all the points.
yeah.
Perfect. I can sleep well.
So we have a continuing contract, service contract with them.
Correct, it's doing it right now anyways. So this stuff's all been done except for one part, and this is not the only. You know, this has been going around for the last 6 months, basically.
Yeah.
So they had, they made sure that they had addressed this in year one of our improvements.
Awesome. Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
well, that's pretty interesting.
So there are some water suppliers that are being affected. That don't have our type of security.
The CISA, the Cyber Information Security Agency said that they won't disclose the number, but it is in the dozens that in the last 2 weeks have been shut down or severely disrupted.
And the impact is, it's hard to serve the water.
In some cases, it's destroying water tanks by overfilling them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so it's some real damage
Yeah,
that takes
and
place.
others, it's just turning off. What
Oh, yeah.
happens is they go and they change the passwords and then the operators can't run the system anymore.
Well, yeah, that's, not to get off topic here, but. You know, the more we threaten to hurt their civilian stuff, we're gonna get it back, right?
Basically, yes.
But I think in Florida, a few years ago, there was a case where somebody hacked in and dumped one of the chemicals, chlorine or something, into the water supply, and it was.
During the Super Bowl, I think, or something like
Yes.
that. Well, everybody's watching the Super Bowl, they did it. Yeah,
So, I mean, in other words, it was the chlorine that was part of the water system.
Yeah, but if you too much, chlorine was used in World War I as a biocide, I believe.
Moving on to old business, conservation restriction to an elementary.
So this is the same thing where, you know, oh, I have a meeting today. Oh, maybe I should call that guy. I'll leave another message.
Well, school is gone and there's dirt on it.
It's been loud over there.
Yeah, he posted the picture.
I haven't been over there, is it completely gone?
You know, it's fascinating. The big piles of topsoil, and they had the backhoe clamshell grabbed the steel girder about 8 feet long and used that as a grader.
It's not a bad
to
idea.
grade the
yeah, it was funny.
pile off and level it up.
Wonder if they put the boiler in some museum somewhere.
But they took out the entire foundation. I thought they were just gonna fill it. They took it out.
There's a lot of asbestos down there.
Yeah, they remediated that first. They got rid of all that before they even started any tear down.
Oh, in the packet, I did get a copy of the
Yeah, thank you.
enabling legislation.
We could frame that somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We accomplished.
Have it in the big book of minutes.
source water protections, general CWMP.
no real update. We can move on.
All right, standing agenda items, review prior meeting minutes. As my fellow commissioners reviewed the minutes of the last meeting. June.
I couldn't find them when I was looking, but I'm sure they're here. Hey, they are right there. Now I found them.
If you wanna read them, we can.
They're pretty lengthy. I'll defer to you guys, or we can hold off till the next meeting.
I read them, I had no changes.
Do we call the voluntary water conservation restriction a voluntary water conservation restriction? Is that the proper legal name of it? Conservation.
Yeah.
Water conservation.
Voluntary water.
As opposed to mandatory.
Right, exactly. Conservation is in there, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll abstain.
All in favor? Aye. Alright, our next meeting, I believe, third Wednesday is the 19th of August.
Are you here, Chad? Is it the fall, the earlier week you taking off?
Yeah, I know, the week before.
I'm off the week before.
Thanks. Good president?
Is that everything?
Good for you?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Then, we do it current. We already discussed we're gonna do something, right? And, we have Commissioner, Havel from the Prudential Committee, who has redesigned the website. And I believe now that we can post our perpetuity current submissions there as well. Good. You want us to, or would you rather not clutter it up?
They can both. Public. Okay. Then at that point, you could just publish it. The people from the occurrence and just read it on what's.
Well, thank you for doing that. The district owes you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor. Aye. Thank you.